Hello there, good to see you and thank you for clicking. Now in this video I'm going to talk about the quickest and the smartest way to get yourself out of the jaws of the debt. The debt crisis, which is a very pronounced problem that is actually here in Kenya. A lot of people get to call me and tell me, hey, you know what, Joseph, I have like multiples of debts from different lenders and I do not know exactly how I'm going to get myself out of it. And guess what, on this video, today is your day because I'm going to share with you step by step exactly how you get yourself out of the debt crisis. You know what, on this channel I usually post a video each and every day. Some of them are good importance and good ideas on businesses, investments, and such one as of the debt. So if you don't want to miss any piece of my good videos, do this. Doesn't cost you anything. It's free and fast. Just down below there on your right, there is a button written subscribe. It is in black. Hit that magical button, hit that like button, and guess what? Once you do exactly that, you get to be notified whenever I upload a new good video. So let's get into today's business. Now, what is a debt and why should you take a debt? All right, so definitely a debt is you getting money somewhere for you to be able to fund either an existing business or you want to start a business. So at that particular point, you may realize you have a very good dream and vision of starting a business. You may not have enough capital, and you can get this debt from different places. Okay, you can get it from a circle, from a bank, from an individual, from a Shylock, or from different lenders out there. Or sometimes you can get them starting your business in terms of a debt. So the point is this: you can get money and the debt is not bad, or getting a loan to start a business or even fund an existing business, it's never a bad idea. I'll never discourage people to take debt. But the question is this: if you do not have a good articulated plan on how you're going to execute that amount of money, and also the plan of repaying back that exact money back to the lender, then can get yourself into a debt crisis. Sometimes you may have a very nice and good plan to get yourself all the repayment back to the lender, but in the process you get confused along the way. So in either case, you got yourself into a dish and you're in a problem, or you're in a situation whereby you're required to pay a debt but you do not know how to go about it. Perhaps before I jump to that, let me tell you one secret. There was one time I received a call from a lady and she told me, like, whatever I am right now, I do not even know what I can do because the business that I started is not going well. Somebody is on top of my shoulder. They want to get my things like auctioneers and what have you. So what exactly do you do when you get yourself in such a situation? It is the very simplest way to get yourself out of the debt. It's simple. Number one, take a pen and paper, write down all the debts that you owe, with a respective to who you owe that debt and the amount of money that you owe them. All right, so at that particular point, then you get yourself to a situation whereby you know now all the identity of your debt. Sometimes you may find like you have some debts in your phone or with you, but you do not know how much you owe them and how much they required you to pay back to them. So take a pen and paper, write down all the debts that you have, starting from the big one to the smallest one. All right, you may have some debts of like 1,000 bob, 2,300 or something of sort, and they keep on disturbing you. This is what you do: you start marking that debt starting from the small one that you know very well. You know what, with 1,000 bob I can be able to handle this debt, and you clear it off, and then you start getting yourself out of the ditch. Because let me tell you one thing: whenever you get yourself into the ditch, the first thing that you're supposed to do is to figure out how you get yourself out of it. So step one, I've said, write all the debt from the big one to the smallest one. Then after that, another form on another platform, then write that debt that you know it is very hot, is really pushing you, and they're on top of you, and they are just about to come and send the auctioneers and sell everything in losses and just to repay themselves and such kind of a thing. Sometimes you may find yourself in a situation whereby it's a bit complex, because let me tell you one thing: debt is not a simple thing. Sometimes you may find that these guys, maybe you did give your shamba or your piece of land as a collateral, or your car logbook as your collateral, and these guys are on top of you, and you do not have any other way you can do apart from them taking that car. This is what I always advise people: it is good you selling that specific car, or it's good for you selling that specific piece of land, because at the end of the day they will devalue that piece of land or that piece of asset that you have, so that they can be able to repay back themselves. So before you come to that particular point, you have to make sure that, hey, you know what, before these guys come to a situation whereby they have to send the auctioneers and get everything in my house, you have to know exactly the value of your house. Let's say you get yourself a TV, you have a dispenser, you have a deep freezer, whatever the things that you have in your house, and then maybe they're asking you like 60,000 or 70,000. So it is you to sit down with pen and paper and then know exactly the value of your house. If it's you're forced by circumstance to go ahead and sell all the items that you have, at least at a good and a reasonable profit, rather than them coming in and getting all those properties and selling them to the Shylock at a throwaway price just because they want to recoup back their money. That one, actually, you can live with that trauma like the rest of your life. So it's good to make sure that you yourself take that action. But anyway, before you reach to that point, I've given that example. If you are in a situation whereby you do not have any other means in and out. That is the only way you can do to repay back this loan. But if you have a loan whereby it can wait, if you have a loan that, yes, you do have a loan, but it's not pushing you, like you have to pay them like here and there. Like for example, we have the mobile apps loans and what have you. Apart from them calling you and what have you, they do nothing else. Okay, so at that particular point, you can tend to ignore that. I did not say that you ignore completely and never pay them. No, what I'm saying is this: you can tend to ignore that, and you can be able to cover up that debt that you know it's out there. Maybe it's a bank debt or a circle or whatever the kind of a debt. Then at that particular point, you try to solve that, because at the end of the day, those are the guys who usually send the auctioneers to your place. Because I have seen a lot of people actually get auctioned and their things are taken away, and those guys, they usually live in that trauma. Now, after arranging all that debt from the top of from the biggest to the smallest, then start attacking the small debts, because there is something I know. There's sort of a psychology. Once you pay that small debt, you get motivated to pay the next one, the next one, and the next one, until now you reach to a point whereby you can be able to tackle the big ones. And this is the point. Let's say you're in a situation whereby you do not have money as of now. Let's say you guys, you agreed that you'll be paying at the end of the month, let's say 16th or 17th at the end of the month, and there you come, you do not have money, like you've defaulted like for the last 3 months. There you are, you even faking your disappearances and what have you, just playing hide and seek games and what can. You're not supposed to do that. What you're supposed to do is that show up yourself to those premises and talk to them, because these are human beings. As much as they're asking you their money, they're human beings that they can reason with you. Okay, this is what you do. You go to them, you say to them and tell them, hey, you know what, guys, I know I'm supposed to pay my debt at this particular date with this amount of money, but guess what, you know what, I've decided to come because this is the current situation that I'm facing on, and you know as well, this is a business, this would go. Yeah, I understand, we all get all those. You get the point. You talk to them, you have the discussion with them, so that at least you can come to a certain page whereby they can be able to see you're actually sincere and you're not kind of trying to play hide and seek games here and there. Now, after sitting them down, you tell them, hey, you know what, we've agreed that I'll be paying you 20,000, but guess what, the current situation that I am, I'd rather go pay a bigger interest, but just allow me to pay like 10,000. Then from there, you can be able to sit down and agree the working formula for the two of you. Because at the end of the day, I do not really think that is the idea to come there and just get everything that you own and then get yourself on the ground, because that way get them a bad reputation as well, because you're gonna keep on sharing the information that, hey, you know what, so and so bank or so and so circles did this to me, and other people might develop that fear to them or fear for them. So the point is this: make sure that if you realize that you're getting yourself into crisis, before the things go south, make sure that you visit those guys, visit their premises. Don't make a call, visit them physically, talk to them, tell them exactly the situation that you are in. And by the way, just sometimes it's good to open up your arms and say, hey, you know what, guys, at this particular point, guess what, I'm even okay you coming to my house and taking that table or that TV of mine, because guess what, because I'm more out at this particular point. But guess what, if you guys can allow me and understand me, I'm supposed to pay 10,000, but hey, I got 5,000 for you. How about you see that and try to, get to understand me or something of that. You know what, during the COVID-19 era, a lot of people learned a lot of lessons, because you find like most of the businesses were, can you imagine if you had taken a loan and start a bar or a restaurant or a beauty shop or a spa, and all those businesses premises were closed? You know what? How many people are asking you for the money? The landlord is asking you for the rent. Are those guys, maybe if you taken that loan that is there, they're asking you for the money and those kind of things. So it is good to come to a point where Ben agreed things happen, and BS happens in life, and that particular point you can be able to talk through with them and see exactly what working formula can work exactly for you. But the point is this: have the identity of the loans or the debt that you have. When you have the identity of the debt, let's say you have bank A, I owe them 100,000. Bank B, Shylock C, Circle D, App C, App D. You get the point. So when you have all that, you need the total loan that are being asked is like 300,000 or maybe 2 million or 5 million or whatever the capacity that you have. Then from that particular point, then you ask yourself, this is the amount of money that I earn at the end of the day, or at the end of the month, at the end of the whatever the time that you usually get your money. And for me to get out myself out of these laws, then I have to sacrifice some things. Now, here where the sacrifices comes in. If you usually go out there and have fun and drink yourself like 4 bottles of beers and whatever, why don't you make it 2? Cut down. You start scaling down a lot of things that you do. You start scaling down all those areas where that money goes. If there are vacations that usually take out there, you have to minimize of those vacations. You have to minimize of those usages and expenses that you usually have there that are not necessary. The only expenses that you cannot be able to negotiate with are the 3 basic things: the food, the shelter, and the clothing. Those ones you can be able to do so. But with clothing, as far as that specific specific clothing that you have, it's actually functioning, or it's playing its function, which basically means to hide the nudity, then fine, that's good. But if you just want to look good and wearing the Versace and Gucci and what have you, just scale down on those things so that you can be able to channel that back money towards you repaying back your debt. And that way, and that is the only way, you call for a sacrifice. That is the only way that you can get yourself into a situation whereby you can be able to now to say, now, hey, you know what, I'm out of the debt, and this is the only way that I did, and this is the formula. And guess what, at that situation, you can be able to actually comfort somebody and tell them, hey, you know what, when you face yourself in such a situation, this is exactly what you do. So anyway, guys, if you watched this video to this particular point, my name is Joseph, talk about money. And let me just recap exactly what I've just said. Number one, you have to write down all the debts from the biggest to the smallest, then start attacking the smallest debt so that you know what, these are just debts that just, disturbing you here and there. You clear all those small debts. And number two, also make sure that you understand which debt is actually, they're on top of your toes. They're just, pushing you here and there, making sure that you repay back their money. So make sure that you understand all the situation of the debts. Some debts are quite risky compared to the other. And I gave an example of an app. You find that those debts that are of the app, unless them calling you here and there, calling your family members and what have you, you get the point, but do not ignore them, repay them back. And the other point I said is this: you have to sacrifice. What exactly do I mean by that point? You have to sacrifice, meaning that you have to sit down and pen and paper and look, okay, fine, I actually go vacation maybe on the weekend, and I make sure maybe I devour like 3 or 4 or 5,000 or 6,000 because I get myself some Hennessy bottles and whatever. So you have to cut down that one. I usually like do this and the other vacations and what have you. So you just look down and try to cut all those things. If it's the issue about paying the Wi-Fi and what have you, unless maybe you are working using the Wi-Fi, you can be able to cut down all those expenses. Like, if it's about electricity cost, look around and see where exactly that you can be able to curtail all those things down, so that at least you can be able to, raise more money. And once you get that specific amount of money, you channel it towards repaying that specific debt. And that is the only way you can get yourself out of the debt crisis. The other thing I said, make sure that you visit these people physically, talk to them, tell them, hey, you know what, guys, I understand this is the situation that I am. These are the promises that I made. I agree that I'm the one who appended that signature there. I'll be able to do exactly that. But hey, you know what, guys, this is life, and it's full of an expectation. And this is where I am right now. So what do we do? I mean, what the formula can work both of us. Because, hey, you know what, I'm always open for anything that you guys are going to tell me. But for now, honestly speaking, I cannot be able to raise 10K as we agreed. But guess what? I'm not just like as empty as you thought. I got some 5,000. How about that? You see, you talk yourself. These are human beings. And then from there, you can be able to find the formula that really works for you. It's as simple as that. So don't go ahead there and behave in a funny way, like faking some things, like whatever the kind of things that I usually hear in the news or watch on the news. So that is exactly how you do it. All right. So anyway, if you're out there, you're a bit confused, what business you would love to start, guess what? I got you covered. You know what? I got booklets about business ideas and business plans combined together. You can get a piece of it or piece of them for only 220 shillings. I also have individual business plans of various business plans, all right? So you can just contact me and get those business plans for each only 208. I have other booklets about investments like MMF, that's money market fund, unit trust, balance fund, bond fund, things like treasury bills, bonds, and what have you. How about you give me a call or you text me on WhatsApp? You get all those copies for only 220. So for now, it's a goodbye. Let's meet in the next video. But don't forget to make sure that you subscribe to this channel.